Welcome to Telugu One Academy. We will be discussing parliamentary committees today. In this class, we have various important committees of Parliament. Generally, we can say that we have two important committees. One is Parliamentary Committee. Under Parliamentary Committee, we have standing committees and ad hoc committees. So, when we say standing committees, these are permanent committees. So, every year the Parliament has to constitute these committees, and we have various standing committees on various matters. Like we have a financial standing committee, we have committee on day-to-day business, we have a committee on the privileges, we have committee also on various factors which is concerned with the Parliament. And we also have ad hoc committees. Ad hoc committees are temporary committees. Once the purpose gets solved, these committees are dissolved. So we have ad hoc committees which are constituted by the Parliament for a limited period till the particular issue is solved. But in our exam, in UPSC or in various other exams, especially when we talk about Group 1 services under the TSPSC and APPSC, we have parliamentary committees which focuses mainly on financial committees, that is permanent committees, financial committees. And in financial committee, we have three important committees. That is, we have PAC, that is we have Public Account Committee, we have Estimate Committee, and we have Committee on Public Undertakings. So first we need to understand why we should have these committees, why we should have parliamentary committees. So we'll get into the class. So importance of parliamentary committee. We know the importance of Parliament. Parliament is where the people sends their representative to the Parliament, and the parliamentarians, the members of the Parliament, both Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, will debate, discuss and decide on various acts which become law, and which is when implemented will add to the growth of the country. So laws are very important here. So to discuss on various matters, as we know, parliamentarians are may not be mature enough, or they are amateurs. That is, they may not have subject knowledge, because Parliament discusses on various matters like finances, defense, education, health, security of the nation. So the Parliament, the members of the Parliament may not have adequate technical knowledge about these things. So they may just discuss on skeleton nature. So, but we have to make a law, we have to pass a legislation by giving it a detailed study, by knowing its pros and cons of such law. If such law is implemented, or if we bring such policy, how would it affect? Would it be for the benefit of the people, or would it have a burden on the resources? So all these things will be discussed in detail by the parliamentary committee. So parliamentary committee acts as a basic work. They will add on the importance, they give technical scope or focus on such matters. So because of the paucity of the time of the parliamentarians, that is, they do not have much time, because most of the time they even have to spend in their constituency, because the constituency is large for the Parliament, and they have to look after their people, because they have to go for the elections, so they have to fulfill their promises. So in that way they may not find time to get into the details of these matters. That is paucity of time, what we can call. And second is, as we have discussed, they do not have technical knowledge, because when we say finances, when we say expenditure, when we say appropriation, when we say revenue, all these things need a technical expertise, that is subject knowledge of such matter. So when a bill is introduced in the Parliament which is related to the agricultural policy, or which is related to the education policy, health policy, defense policy, industrial policy, so every subject has its own importance. So to know much about such subjects, such policy, they have to give a very detailed discussion and debate. And for that matter, we have constituted, the Parliament have constituted parliamentary committees which will work on such matters in detail. So Article 118 empowers the empowers the Parliament to create such parliamentary committees, which is constituted every year. So importance of parliamentary committee is it provides forum. We will have a platform. We will have a platform where the members of parliamentary committee will discuss on such issues in detail, and then they let know the entire parliament about the technicalities of such issues. Then in the parliament, both opposition and ruling party will have a complete and comprehensive discussion and debate on such matters. Then only if the majority of the people in that particular house passes the bill will become law or it is enacted. So before enacting of the law, that is before the bill is passed and then becomes an act, it will go through a very comprehensive process. So every subject is very complex in sense we may have many things which a common man may not understand or a parliamentarian may not understand. It should have a very technical knowledge about such things. So to deliberate on such matters, we need to have a group of people who may have a subject expertise. And one important thing is also there, that when the policy is has to be brought, a small group can work efficiently on such matter, because parliament is a very big body. As we know, in Lok Sabha we have 545 members, 250 members in the Rajya Sabha. All these members cannot discuss on particular issue. That would become chaos. And we may not come out with efficient policy. So we need to have a very limited member having subject knowledge, which could get into the details of such matter, which have in-house meetings. No one will disturb them, but they will work into such issues on a very scientific basis. So on any complex matters, we need an expertise to understand the details and technicalities of such matters. So that is one thing which provides forum for the discussions and debates. And we also know that these members, that is members of such committee, be it Public Accounts Committee, be it Committee on Public Undertakings or Estimates Committee, we will discuss all these committees in detail. Now in this class we are just discussing the importance of parliamentary committee. So the committee will help by providing expert details. That is, the government during its formulation of the policy will also take the help of the bureaucrats, because bureaucracy is a link. Bureaucrats are experts in such matters. Politicians are directly elected by the people, some are indirectly elected. They may not have the technical knowledge of such policies. They are closer to the people, they are representatives of the people, but day-to-day administration is handled by the bureaucrats, and bureaucrats have all the data. They also have the experience of implementing such policies. So here bureaucrats would give advice on such matters whenever they are asked, and parliamentary committees would certainly take help of such experts in these matters. So when we say experts, they may be government officials, they may be experts on subject knowledge, or the parliamentary committee can also take the help of experts from international agencies if the matter has got such importance. So it provides a forum. And the second important thing is build consensus. When we say consensus, see, parliament is a symbol of democracy where there will having a lot of debates and discussions. We have an opposition party. Whatever the ruling party brings a policy, definitely the opposition party will oppose such bill until and unless there is a consensus developed. So the ruling party should also give chance to the opposition party to air their grievance or to air their view. They will generally ask suggestions from the opposition party also. So the parliamentary committees, when we talk the public account committee, it's a very important financial committee which is chaired by, that is the chairman of public account committee is a member of the opposition party. So such an important role the opposition party will also play when it comes to parliamentary committees. So here one need to understand is the importance or the significance of the parliamentary committees is also to build consensus, that is to have a coordination among all the members. Majority doesn't just survive, because in every parliament we have majority, and the bills would be generally passed when we have help of the majority. But we have to look these matters in a longer run. What if such policies are implemented? How would it affect the nation's growth, or what is the burden on the country's exchequer? So it builds consensus across political parties. In coalition governments, obviously we have different political parties coming together will form the government, but when it comes to certain policy matters or to bring certain legislations, few political parties may oppose that particular legislation, though they support the government. So to have a coordination between such political parties, this parliamentary committee will do the job, because we have members from all the political parties. They will sit together, they will discuss, they will have a debate, they will try to develop the consensus, and they will try to make understand the other members of the parliament about the importance and the technicalities of such legislation. So building consensus is important. That is the role played by the parliamentary committees. And as we know, the parliament has to sit for many times. It may also take years to pass a legislation. So the proceedings of the House during the sessions are live telecast. They will go to air on live. So the important thing here is the members who talk on such subject, or the members who involved in debates and discussions on such legislation, should have a knowledge about what the legislation is all about, what are the technical things, because entire country will be listening to them, and the important sections of the people who really get effects by such legislation would definitely want to know what are the pros and cons of such legislation. So until and unless such minister or member of the parliament, when speaking on such legislations, is not well prepared, he may not convey the importance of such legislation to the House in particular and to the people of the country in general. So the minister has to have the knowledge of such legislations, and if the parliamentary committee is well prepared, then the parliamentary committee with limited members would better convey such member about the importance of such legislation. So one important thing is the parliamentary committees will discuss in closed door meetings, because we know that parliamentary committees are a private in nature. They are they have to maintain a confidentiality, because in particular legislation they may come out with such law, or they may not come out with such law. So before bringing such bill into the parliament, they have to get into the details of such legislation. So they have to make sure that every details of such bill has to be maintained very confidentially, because that may affects the other process also. So because they conduct all the meetings in a closed door, they will have a very open mindset that they could discuss any matter. If few members of the parliament committee are against such bill, then they can easily convey their suggestions, or they may advise the chairman of the parliamentary committee about their dissatisfaction or satisfaction. So because of such openness in parliamentary committee, the bill which is coming to the parliament will generally minimize also negatives whatever it have before. So the parliamentary committees will in detail get into the bill, and they will try to minimize whatever the defects the bill carries before becoming into an act. So examine policy issues. When we say policy issues, the parliamentary committee just do not get into the details of that policy, but it will also examine the policy issue. For example, when we say if the legislation is regarding health bill or no health policy, so the parliamentary committee would also discuss the importance of health policy, how this health policy would affect the future coming generations of India. We have faced many problems regarding the health related things during this pandemic situations, during COVID-19, all this 2.5 years. So for that matter, the parliamentary committee should have a broader vision, which could try to strengthen the health infrastructure in country. It should also try to build confidence among the people regarding health matters. So it should have a 360 degrees view regarding the health mission. So the parliamentary committee could also question the policy matters also, if it is not happy with the way the parliament is bringing the bill. So because we have such a right to the parliamentary committee members, they will generally try to develop a very strong bill which would have a positive effect on the nation and also the people. So that is one thing. And when we say policy issues, the government has to consider these advices of the parliamentary committee, because the parliamentary committee is constituted to get into the details, technicalities of such legislation. So generally the government do not reject such advices. If at all the government do not take any action on such advices, the government has to give a report, give a note that why the government has not taken the suggestions of the parliamentary committee. Because we can say that parliamentary committee is established, it has a constitutional backup. Article 118 empowers the parliament to constitute such committees. So the government in general will take the advices of parliamentary committees. In any case, if the government does not listen to the advices of such committee reports, then the government has to explain the parliament that why it hasn't taken the advice of parliamentary committees. So the report on whether such things have accepted or rejected should also be discussed in the parliament. So based on this action taken report and the status of the suggestions, the implementation of the suggestions of the parliamentary committee, there will be discussion and debate in the parliament. So this is one thing. And as we know, we have mandated that Article 118 of the Constitution of India will become a backbone to parliamentary committees, because this article empowers the parliament to constitute parliamentary committees which will examine the various legislations in detail. And as we have discussed earlier, we have two important committees. One is standing committee, which are permanent committee on various matters, and we have ad hoc committees. We have ad hoc committees which is constituted by the government, and which is after completion of the work, the committee is dissolved. For example, many committees we generally see on like for example, we have Sri Krishna committee for the AP reorganization bill. Once it is completed its task, it got dissolved. So we have ad hoc committees which generally work on specific specific issues, and once the issue is solved or when the term is expired, then the committee is dissolved. And we have standing committees on various matters. We have financial committees, we have defense committees, we have committees on day-to-day administration. We have also committee established for the sake of when we have a manifesto given by the political parties, so such manifestos also be implemented in reality. So we also have committees on the implementation of such manifesto before political parties goes to elections. So we have standing committees, and we have three important standing committees under financial committee, because here we will stick to financial committees only. Under financial committees, we have three important committees. These are Public Account Committee, we generally call it as PAC, Public Account Committee. I think we remember we have Comptroller and Auditor General, CAG. So CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General, will become a friend, will become a philosopher and advisor to the Public Accounts Committee. So we have Estimates Committee, other important financial committee, which will generally work on the estimates, that is the revenue, expenditure, budget on various things. And we have committee on public undertakings. We have a committee on public undertakings. Public undertakings are the commercial arm of the government of India or of various states. They are commercial arms, that is they are revenue generating companies. We have many, like we have Maharatna company, Mini Ratna company, so Navaratna companies. So all these companies are comes under public undertakings. And we have a parliamentary committee which will study the report of such undertakings. So this will be discussing in detail here. So we'll start with Public Accounts Committee. So the importance of this Public Accounts Committee here is, recently, last year we have completed 100 years of its constitution. The reason is, we in year 1921, first time we have constituted PAC, Public Accounts Committee. The base for constitution of PAC in 1921 is Government of India Act 1919. We call this act as a very important landmark in the history of India, because we have brought many legislations. After 1919, we got Government of India Act 1935, which becomes a base for our Indian constitution. So 1919, that is Montague-Chelmsford reforms of 1919, has been the base for the Public Accounts Committee. Initially, the Public Accounts Committee, didn't had such members, and there was no liberal democratic discussion in Public Accounts Committee. But once after independence, that is after 1947, we had made it more liberal, more democratic in nature, and we have strengthened the Public Accounts Committee. So there may be a chance of getting question in this year, because it's in the news. So PAC, Public Accounts Committee, which is a very important financial standing committee. We need not to forget this. It's a standing committee. It's not an ad hoc committee. It's an important standing committee, Public Accounts Committee, which generally works on the reports of CAG. So there may be a question, which committee works on the reports of Comptroller and Auditor General? Public Accounts Committee, Committee on Public Undertakings, Estimates Committee, or none of the above. So we have to remember that PAC is the answer, Public Accounts Committee. So CAG will become a friend, guide and philosopher for Public Accounts Committee. They will generally work on expenditure, appropriation of the bill, how the audit report goes, what is the budget allocated for such programs. Does that budget enough for the program, or the budget being spent on such program is prudent or not, or is there any appropriation, or is there any diversion, is there any scams happened on such matters? So all these matters will be in detail discussed and deliberated by the Public Accounts Committee. So this is an important thing. Parliamentary committee, as we know, it has a constitutional mandate. So as we have just discussed, it's the first PAC was constituted in the year 1921 by Montague-Chelmsford reforms. We call Montague-Chelmsford reforms also as Montfort reforms in year 1919. So this is one thing. There may be also question, when is the first PAC constituted? Generally, we generally forget that PAC is not constituted post independence, but we have a historical background of PAC. So in 1921, on the basis of report of Montague-Chelmsford reforms, we got a necessary to constitute a committee which study in details the expenditure, appropriation, or regarding the revenues of the government. So the chairman of the committee is appointed by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. We generally have 22 members in total, 22 members of Public Accounts Committee. In 22 members, 15 members are drawn from Lok Sabha and 7 members are from Rajya Sabha. Initially, post independence also, we did not have members from the Rajya Sabha. Only we had members from the Lok Sabha, but given the importance of the financial related matters, even Rajya Sabha is the elder house in our parliament. We have a Rajya Sabha which has elder house, and the Rajya Sabha people are not directly elected. We call them they are the representatives of the state, and they are more aware of such matters. They are educated, they are expert of from various fields like science, technology, education, health, defense. They may be experts of from such background. So the members of the Rajya Sabha have also been included in the PAC. One important thing is the chairman of the Public Account Committee is from opposition party. This is the beauty of the PAC. Generally what happens, before 67 also, the chairman of the Public Account Committee was from ruling party, but unless there is an opposition regarding revenue matters, we may not expect a beautiful or efficient legislation to come. So when the responsibility is given to the opposition leader regarding the matters related to the expenditure and appropriation of revenues, then definitely we can say that there is a democracy, because opposition party should also be given an importance related to this matter. So as we know, the committee is not an executive body. It doesn't execute the things, but it's a body which advises the parliament. It will study the matters in detail, and it will come up with various suggestions, advices, which it gives to the parliament, and on such reports the parliament would discuss in detail. As we know, the parliament comprises of both Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and obviously many political parties involved in such debates and discussions. So there will be a healthy democratic deliberations on these matters. So one thing we need to understand is the PAC consists of members from both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha as well. Before 1967, the members were only, the chairman was appointed only from the ruling party, but now at present, the chairman is from opposition party. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is the present chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. Before Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, it was Mallikarjun Kharge, who was chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. So it is not an executive body. We need to understand it's not an executive body. It doesn't execute the functions. It's just an advisory body, and the advice of these committees have to be in general accepted by the government. In non-acceptance of such advices, the parliament should give the explanation that why the advices have not been accepted. So that is the importance given to such committees. This is like we have 22 members, we have 15 from Lok Sabha and 7 from Rajya Sabha. Every year the nomination is everywhere. That is, the committee has a term of 1 year. Every year the committee should be reconstituted. So the members can continue their membership, but in general we have a term of 1 year. So this is an important question. Again, we need to understand, we need to remember this number 15 from Lok Sabha and 7 from Rajya Sabha. Again, there will be elections. The elections will also be depending upon the proportionate of the members in such house by single transferable vote, and the chairman is appointed by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. So, what is the purpose of PAC? Important thing is why we need to constitute the Public Accounts Committee. There is a thing. See, we have public accounts. Here, public is people. Account is generally related to revenues. Revenue, that is expenditure, appropriation, whatever. Everything should will run on money. So the government of India will collect taxes, will get non-taxes from other sources, and we will spend on various projects. We have capital expenditure, we have day-to-day administration expenditure. So all these things have to be managed very prudently, because everything, finances are the lifeline of any government. To come up with many welfare policies or developmental policies, the government should have money in their hands, and the government generally will spend such money in a very prudent way. So the main purpose of Public Accounts Committee is to get into the details of the expenditures, of the revenue, of various things which is contained in the budget. And initially the PAC will study on the reports of CAG, as we have repeated this, Comptroller and Auditor General, under Article 148 of the Indian Constitution. We have under Article 148 we have CAG. CAG will generally submit their report to the President. President will lay before the Parliament, before both the houses of the Parliament, and Parliamentary Committee will discuss in detail on such reports submitted by the CAG in the Parliament. So that is important thing is money. Why, how, when the money is spent. As we have seen on the reports of Public Accounts Committee, on the reports of CAG, many scams have unearthed during the UPA 2 rule. We have unearthed the 2G scam. There was a 2G scam, there was a Commonwealth Games scam. There were many coal scam we had seen. So Adarsh apartments, that is Adarsh buildings in Mumbai. So we have seen such scams also. So all these scams need to be unearthed, because there is a loss of revenue to the government. So the main purpose is to study such reports in detail and ascertain, that is to make sure that the whatever money the government is spending on such programs will have an efficient implementation, whether such programs are being helpful to the people. If it is welfare scheme, really the development, the fruits of development are reaching to the last person who is standing in the line. That is what we call, that is Antyodaya Yojana. The people, the development, the fruits of the development should reach to the people at rural level, at the grassroots level. So that has to be ensured by the Public Accounts Committee. One thing we need to remember is the minister will never be part of the Public Accounts Committee. Here when we say minister maybe from Rajya Sabha or the Lok Sabha, he is obviously the member of the Parliament from ruling party. Ministers are not made member of the Parliamentary Committee, that is Public Accounts Committee. So it examines the accounts showing the appropriation. The word appropriation means spending of the money on various programs, projects, be it welfare schemes or developmental schemes or various policies, any policy, health policy, education policy, defense policy, whatever policy we call. So appropriation of such budget should be examined by the PAC, whether such allocation of money to particular program has been spent on that head, and if it is spent, then what are the result? Had we got the result as we expected? Is there any diversion of the budget? So all these things have to be ensured by the Public Accounts Committee. So various functions. So it's except public undertakings, because we have an exclusive committee, that is Committee on Public Undertakings. All other matters related to the finances are examined by the Public Accounts Committee. So as we have said, CAG is the base. Comptroller and Auditor General's report forms the base of the Public Accounts Committee. That is why we call the CAG as friend, guide and philosopher of the Public Accounts Committee. So there are many functions. See, when we say incorrect estimating is in the formation of the budget, there may be there may be exaggeration of some amount. If the program needs, for example, 1,000 crores, the budget may give 1,500 crores. So obviously there is a loss of 500 crores there. Had the budget does not does not depict such figure, that 500 crores would have been spent on other schemes. So incorrect estimating is also an error on part of the officials or any person who is involved in preparation of the budget. So the committee will work on such matters also. So this is Public Accounts Committee. In next class we will be discussing Estimates Committee and of course Committee on Public Undertakings. Hope you understand this. It's a very important topic, Public Accounts Committee, PAC. Thank you for watching my class.